Okay, well, welcome. Thank you for coming to yoga today. Hopefully the next 45 minutes or so, you'll get some nice alignment, some good vibes, and just get feeling nice and grounded. Let's begin with bringing our hands to our heart center. I invite you to close your eyes and just nod your chin in a little bit. And just connect with your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and you breathe out. Opening up the toes on the mat, getting a nice connection to the earth. Doing a quick scan of your body, noticing how you feel, and also a quick scan of your mind, acknowledging any thoughts that are there. Just let them go though. Try to leave the busyness of your morning behind you. Let's take 4 more deep breaths. So as we breathe in, breathing in lots of beautiful oxygen and breathing out all that doesn't serve you. 3 more like that. So big deep breath in and big breath out. 2 more, big breath in and out. And last one. And then relax your hands. And you can leave your eyes closed if you want, or you can open them. Let's start to open up our shoulders. So we're just moving our hands in big circles. Just going from front to back. As you do that, just opening up through the chest, releasing any tension you might be holding in your shoulders. And let's go back the other way. Nice big shoulder movements, just warming up the body. And then some little shoulder shrugs. As you do that, notice the muscles behind your shoulders and the neck, just trying to release any tension you might have there, and then go the other way. And having your legs about hip width apart, let's inhale, bring our hands over our head, and exhale, go to one side. Inhale back to center and exhale to the other side. Notice a big stretch down the side from the hips all the way up the side of the body, shoulders and arms. And then bringing your hands to cactus, and let's just twist to one side and then the other. Try to keep your hips forward so you're twisting the body. And then come back to center. Let's take our left arm in front of us and the right hand underneath. Draw the left arm to your chest and look over the left shoulder, getting a nice stretch through the left scapula. Take a couple of breaths there. And then release it and take it to the other side. And notice that stretch through the right scapula this time. And release. Give your shoulders a little shake. And let's take our feet out a little wider. And we'll inhale, lift our arms up. And exhale, slide your hands down your legs. And bring your hands either down to the mat, or you can bring them to your block, or you can have them on your shins, whatever works for you. Heel toe your feet a little wider, so you're as wide as you can be. And allow the head to drop so that the crown of your head is pointing down to the mat. And you can either have your hands flat on the mat, on the block, on your shins, or fold your arms and just hang upside down. Just let all the tension come out of your spine. Come back to your breathing. Let's continue on the theme of gratitude that we started on Monday. So just taking gratitude with you as you practice your yoga today. Thinking about all the things you're grateful for. Might be your good health. It could be the feet that take you on adventures. It might be the sunshine or the flowers or the friends and family around you. Whatever that is that you're grateful for, just bring that with you as you practice your yoga today. Take a couple more breaths here. Just really surrender into the pose. Notice the stretch up the back of the legs and through the spine, lower back, and all the tension coming out of the shoulders and neck. Allow your hands to come down to the mat and walk them forward. Lift your chest. Just give your back a nice stretch. And then bring your knees down to the mat slowly and come down to a tabletop position. Knees underneath your hips. Hands with your fingertips really stretched out, pressing the palms into the mat. And let's move our body in a little circle. So just trying to get some stretch through the tendons in your arms and through the wrists, and then take it the other way. If it's comfortable for you, turn your fingers out so the fingers are pointing to the outside edge of the mat, and continue on with your little circles. And just notice the tension and the stretch through the tendons in your forearms and through the wrists. And then take it the other direction. And if it's comfortable for you, turn one hand, turn the fingers back, point them towards your body, and leave the other one as it is. If this is not comfortable, just leave it how it was before. It's not everyone's got that ability to move. You'll notice the movements of the circle get smaller and smaller as you have more tension there. And then bring that hand back to normal and point the other finger towards you. So the fingers are pointing back towards your knees, if that's comfortable for you. And just moving your body in a little circle. So you're getting a really nice stretch through the forearms. And then release it. And let's come into some cat-cows. So we inhale, lift up our chest, arching our back and raising our gaze. And exhale, draw your spine up towards the sky or the ceiling, nod your chin in, and feel that nice stretch through the spine and the shoulders and the neck. And then back to inhaling, lifting up again. So just going through this little flow with your breath. Just noticing how this is feeling on your shoulders and your neck. And then taking your knees a little wider and bring your buttocks down to your heels and walk your fingers forward. Just move your hips from side to side and bring the forehead down, touching the mat if you can or close by, and surrender into child's pose. Let's take some nice big breaths here and notice all the points of your body that are touching the earth. So your hands, your forehead, your shins, tops of your feet. Let's take a couple more breaths here, just releasing into the pose, just surrendering. And then inhale, come back up and bring your knees in a little closer. And we're going to inhale, come to upward dog. And exhale, back to child's pose. So let's do a few of these little flows, just working through getting some movement into our hips and our lower back. Just go at your own pace, using inhale to come to upward dog and exhale, coming back to child's pose. So you can continue on with this flow, or you can take it one step further. And we tuck our toes under and come into downward dog, pressing our heels into the ground and feeling that stretch down the back of the legs through the calves and the Achilles. And let's try and go through a little flow. So we'll bring our body forward and come into upward dog. From here, untuck your toes. You can have your knees off the mat or on the mat, whichever you feel like doing today, depending on how your body feels. And then exhale back to downward dog. Just go through this flow just a couple of times more. Just waking up the spine. Last round. And then coming back down to child's pose, just resting there. Coming back to your breath again. Just resting into child's pose. Take a few breaths here. And then inhale, come up to tabletop. And we're going to do some thread the needle. So what we're going to do here is bring our left hand towards the middle of the mat. Inhale, lift up the right hand, look up to the right thumb, open up through the chest, and exhale, thread the right hand under the left, and take your left, slide your left hand forward, bringing the right ear and shoulder down to the mat, and feel the stretch through the right scapula. Just taking a few breaths here. And then inhale, come back up to tabletop. And this time we're going to move the right hand towards the middle underneath you. Inhale, lift up the left hand, stretch up, twist, open up through the chest. Exhale, thread the left hand under the right. Slide the right hand forward and bring come back up to tabletop. From here, we're going to try lizard pose. So we're going to bring our right foot forward next to our right hand and slide the left knee back a little bit. So you're getting a nice stretch through the left hip flexor. So you can stay here and leave your hands here, or you can take it into a twisted lizard by lifting up the right hand and look up to the right thumb. So you're opening up through the chest. This puts a little bit more pressure on the left shoulder. So if that's not comfortable for you, just leave your hands, both of them on the ground. And then exhale, bring the right hand down and bring the right knee back to where it started. And then we take it to the other side. So bring the left foot forward, slide the right knee back slightly, bringing the hip forward and feel the stretch through the right hip flexor. And you can keep your hands on the mat, or you can raise the left hand and open up into twisted lizard. Taking a couple of breaths and exhale. Bring the left hand back down and bring the knee back. And let's take it back to child's pose. So surrendering into child's pose is a really good spot. If ever you feel a bit tired, you can always come back to this one. And then when you feel rejuvenated again, you can begin your practice again. So it's always a good, safe place to go if you need to. And then inhale, come back up to tabletop, tucking your toes under. And let's lift our hips up into downward dog and just press our heels into the mat. Taking a few breaths here. And then taking the feet wide, walking your hands up underneath you into a wide-legged forward bend. That's it. And just allow your foot, the top of your head to point down to the mat, folding your arms, surrendering into the pose, letting your upper body just hang upside down. Notice how that feels on your spine and on your shoulders and neck, and also the back of your legs and lower back. Let's take a couple of big breaths here. And then release your hands down to the mat. Slight bend in the knees and walk your hands up your legs slowly, slowly coming up to standing, and heel toe your feet a little closer together. And let's give it a little shake. Good. How's everyone going? All good? Yep, great. Okay. Let's do our warrior sequence. So we'll come to the back of the mat and we're going to slightly turn the left toe out and step forward with the right foot. Inhale, lift up through the chest, raise your arms, raise your gaze. Reaching up nice and tall, and again, feel that stretch through the left hip. Just take a couple of breaths as you reach up each time, and then take the right hand forward, left hand back, lengthening through the fingertips, squeezing the shoulders, nice and strong on that right thigh. And then as you take the right hand behind you, lengthen out the right leg and bring the hands behind, clasp them, and then inhale as you lift your chest and look up into a humble warrior. Nice stretch through the shoulders and the hamstrings. And then releasing your hands down to the mat. If you have a block nearby, place that next to your right foot. Place your right hand on it. Inhale, lift up the left hand. Look up to the left thumb into triangle pose. And really open up through the chest. Feel the stretch through the chest and through the right hamstring. And then exhale, bring the left hand down to the mat. And inhale, slowly come up to standing and come to the back of the mat. That's it. Good. Okay, let's take it to the other side. So turning the right toe out slightly, step forward with the left. Inhale, lift the chest, lift your gaze. Bring your arms up and bending the left knee. Reaching up nice and tall and feel the stretch through the right hip flexor. Just keeping nice and balanced. Reaching up nice and tall. And then take the left hand forward and right hand back, lengthening through the fingertips, squeeze the shoulder blades, and keep it nice and strong through the left thigh. Take a couple of breaths here. And then as you take the left hand behind you, lengthening out the left leg, and then breathe in, lifting up through the chest, lifting the hands off your lower back into humble warrior. One more breath here. Release your hands down to the mat as you exhale. Place the left hand on the block. Inhale, lift up the right hand and look up to the right thumb. Triangle pose. So this is opening through the heart and the chest area and lengthening and stretching through the left hamstring. One more breath. And then exhale. Bring the right hand down to the mat and inhale, slowly come up to standing. Nice. Okay, let's do a little bit of balancing. We'll start with the tree pose. So opening up the right toes and move your hips in a little circle so you can feel the anchor points under the right foot, behind your big toe and your little toe and your heel. Find a drishti point to stare at and then bend the left knee and bring the left ankle in front of the right knee. Slight bend in the right knee and bring your hands to heart center and then bring your chest slightly forward. And you'll feel a nice stretch through the glute on the left side. So we're doing a balanced pose, but we're also stretching through the glute areas. And just quieten everything down here and breathe. Notice the right ankle, all the little movements stabilizing you. One more breath. And then coming back up to standing, release it. Give your legs a shake. And then we'll take it to the other side. So opening up the left toes, moving our hips in a little circle and noticing the anchor point behind the little toe and the big toe and the heel on the left foot. Find your drishti point and then bend the right knee. Bring the right ankle in front of the left knee. Bring your hands to heart center and then slight bend in the left knee. Bring the chest slightly forward till you feel a stretch through the left glute. Coming back to your breathing, slowing it all down. Noticing how you feel on this side compared to the other side, which is better. We usually favor one side. One more breath. And then come back up to standing. Give that a little shake. Good. Okay, today we're going to do some sun salutes. So we'll come to the front of the mat. We'll do 3 today. If you need to have a rest, you can have a rest. You can rest in child's pose or savasana. So we're going to come to the front of the mat. We're going to inhale, bring our arms up to mountain pose. Stretching up nice and tall. Exhale, fold forward and bring your hands down to the mat. Stepping back into plank. So in plank, you can bring your knees down to the mat or you can have them up, your choice. And then exhale, slowly bring your body down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up through the chest into upward dog. Tuck your toes under. Bring your hips up into downward dog. And then look forward towards your hands and step forward. Coming into forward bend. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, hug your knees to your chest. And then inhale, slight bend in the knees. Come all the way back up to mountain pose. And then bring your hands back to heart center. It's quite vigorous, so let's take a couple of breaths here, just slowing down our breath again. Just notice how your body's feeling. So we've got 2 more to do. You can have a rest if you need to. Okay, let's go for number 2. So inhale, lift up our arms, raise our gaze, reach up into mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Step back into plank. And then exhale, slowly lower your body down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up through the chest into upward dog. Tuck your toes under. Exhale into downward dog. And then look forward, step forward into forward bend. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, hug the chest into the legs. And then inhale, come all the way back up to mountain pose and hands back to heart center. Come back to the top of the mat again. Let's take a couple of breaths. Just noticing how this bit more vigorous activity gets your breathing going. So we need to come back to our nice, relaxed breath again. Okay, and then breathe in, raise your arms, looking up into mountain pose, stretching up. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands to the mat, step back into plank. And exhale, slowly lower your body down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up through the chest into upward dog. Squeezing through the butt. Tuck your toes under. Bring your hips up into downward dog. Looking forward, step forward into forward bend. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, hug the knees into your chest. And then inhale, slight bend in the knees and come all the way back up to mountain pose and hands back to heart center. Well done. It's quite vigorous. Let's take our feet out nice and wide now. Heel toe them out wide. Inhale, raise our arms. And exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands down to the mat, or you can bring them down to the block if you want. Heel toe your feet out nice and wide, so you're as wide as you can comfortably go. And then folding forward, allow the crown of your head to point to the mat. So you're taking all the tension out of your shoulder and your neck. You can place your palms flat on the mat, or you can take them out a bit wider towards your toes, maybe even grab your big toes and bring yourself down a little lower. And let's take a few breaths here and notice a nice stretch through this one. Just coming back to the breath. So these inversions are so good for you. Nice deep breathing here. And then bring your hands back underneath you, lifting the chest, walking your hands forward. And then heel toe your feet a little closer together, and then bending your knees, coming back down to the mat. And let's go onto our back. So we're going into Asana. So we're going to lay on our back, hug our knees to our chest, and just roll it in a little circle. Releasing any tension in our lower back. And let's bring our heels down to the mat, close to the buttocks, as close as you can get them. Place the palms of your hand face down on the mat. Inhale, lift up through the hips. Nod your chin into your chest. Squeeze the buttocks and push through the heels into a bridge pose. Squeeze it up nice and tall, and then exhale, slowly lower your spine down to the mat. Walk your heels a little closer to the buttocks again. And then inhale, lift up through the hips. Nod your chin in, squeeze the buttocks, press through the heels. Feeling this through the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads. Exhale, slowly lower the spine down to the mat. Hug your knees to your chest. Let's release the tension. So you've just done a little back bend, and this is releasing and flushing it out. Place the right foot on the mat and bend the left knee and bring the left ankle in front of the right knee, and then hug your knees up to your chest into reverse pigeon. So you can hold on to the left shin or the right thigh, or the right, slide your hands through the middle to the right shin, depending on how flexible you are on the left side. And then bring your shoulders back down to the mat. I invite you to close your eyes and just breathe. Each time you exhale, try to hug it in a little more. Notice the stretch through the left glutes. This is really good if you've got any stiffness in your lower back. And then release your hands. Allow the right foot to come down to the mat, and then swap the legs over. Left foot on the mat, bend the right knee, bring the right ankle in front of the left knee, and then hug your knees to your chest. And then reach up, holding on to either the right shin or reach through the middle to the right thigh or the right shin, just depending on how flexible this side is. So it's like the balance. Usually one side's better than the other. Release your shoulders to the mat and just breathe. Each time you exhale, hugging a little more. And then release your hands. Allow the left foot to come down to the mat. Uncross your legs and then hug both knees to your chest. Rinse it out in a little circle. Go one way and then the other way. And then bring your feet down to the mat. Bring your hands straight out from your shoulders. And we're going to take our knees to the right side and turn our head to the left. So we're getting a nice twist through our spine and a stretch through the left side of the body. Take a few breaths. Have your shoulders on the mat, so you're feeling a little stretch through the chest as well. One more breath. And then inhale, bring your knees back to center. And exhale, take the knees to the left as you turn your head to the right. And notice the twist in the spine and also the stretch through the right side of the body. And inhale, bring your knees back to center. Hug your knees to your chest. And you might want to rock and roll from side to side or roll in a circle, whatever feels good for you. And then reach through the center of your knees and grab onto the outside edge of your feet. Lift your feet up so they point towards the sky or the ceiling. Flatten your back out so it's nice and flat on the mat. And feel that nice stretch through the groin and through the lower back. Take a couple breaths. And then release your feet. Just hold on to the back of your knees and use your weight of your legs to roll you back up to a sitting position. So sitting with your feet out in front. And let's inhale, lift our arms up. Exhale, fold forward, flexing your feet so your toes are pointing back towards your face. And reach forward. You might grab onto your toes or your ankles or your shins. And take a few deep breaths here. And connect with the stretch through the back of the legs and the shoulders and lower back. And then release your hands from your feet. Let's bend the left knee and bring the left sole of your foot up into the groin on the right side. Lift up your body so you're sitting up on your sit bones. Nice tall spine. Flex the right foot. Bring your hands together above your head, stretching up. Exhale, fold forward. And bring your fingertips down to the toes or to the ankle or to the shin on the right leg. Notice the stretch through the left glute again and the lower back. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Each time you exhale, try to surrender a bit more into the stretch and then release. Let's go to the other side, bending the right knee this time and bringing the right foot into the left groin area. Lift your bottom up so you're up on your sit bone, nice tall spine. Inhale, lift your arms up over your head and then exhale, fold forward. Bringing the hands down to the toes or the ankle or the shins. Noticing how your body is on this side. Your knee might be up a bit higher or you might find you can't reach quite as far forward. Take a couple of breaths and then release. Bring both feet out in front again. Give them a little shake. And then let's inhale, lift our arms up. Exhale, flex our feet and bring our hands down to the toes again. And hopefully you can reach a little bit further forward this time. And just relaxing your eyes down, looking down towards your knees or even close your eyes. Take a few breaths and feel that beautiful stretch through the hamstrings and the shoulders. And then release your hands from your feet. Give that a little bit of a shake. And then let's go onto our back again. Let's hug the knees to our chest and rinse out all those forward bends we just did. And the next position will be legs up. So you might want to have your legs up next to a wall or furniture or go into a shoulder stand, whatever's going to be the right thing for you today, depending on how you feel. Inhale, lift up your feet and come into your legs up position. If you're in a shoulder stand, just use your hands to hold your hips in place. Bring your elbows slightly together. Feet are above your head and just give them a little circle through the ankles. Going one way and then the other way. And then taking your feet out wide like a starfish. And bending your knees, bring the soles of your feet together like a butterfly. Coming back to the breath. And then lift your feet up high again. And you can keep them here, or if you're in a shoulder stand, you can bring the feet over your head towards the ground behind your head into plow pose. If you're going into plow pose, release your hands from your hips and bring the palms down to the mat. taking a couple more breaths. And then on the next inhale, slowly lower the spine down to the mat and bring your feet down. You might like to bend your knees and bring your feet down to the mat, just rocking your hips from side to side. And then come into a comfortable position on your back in Savasana. So you might have your knees bent, you might have a bolster underneath your knees to support your lower back. If you have an eye pillow or a blanket, you can place that over you. Whatever you feel you need to make you feel comfortable for the next 5 minutes or so while we have a nice Savasana. So we're just going to go silent today, let you enjoy the beautiful yogic energy that you've cultivated and have a nice little silent meditation. So feeling the earth underneath your body, touching your heels and your backs of your legs, lower back, upper back, spine, shoulders and head, backs of your arms. Just noticing you're cradled by the beautiful earth, supporting you in your yoga practice. Noticing your breathing, but not trying to control it in any way. Closing your eyes, enjoying the beautiful yogic bliss for 5 minutes or so. Starting to come back to your breathing, noticing the earth under you, stretching out through the fingers and toes. When you're ready, slowly roll to one side. As you're laying on your side, coming back to the theme of our practice today, which was about gratitude. finding compassion and gratitude for your own journey, for all the struggles you have and all the strengths you have. Gratitude expands our awareness. If we're grateful for everything that is in our life and our body, we actually attract good forces for health. So just thinking about that as you slowly come up to a comfortable seated position. And let's bring our hands to our forehead for kind words. For kind thoughts. Our lips for kind words. And our heart for a kind heart. Namaste. Thank you all for being here today, for your beautiful yoga energy, raising all of our own vibrations and everyone in our group. And everybody that we come into contact with will benefit. How are you feeling?